history repeats itself. Try and you'll succeed. Never doubt that you're the one and you can't have your dream. With Ralph Macchio, this is in Karate Kid 1. He didn't lose anything. It's the first time he's even stepping into the arena.
Cobra Kai. Kid.
Bonsai, I'm the Cobra Kai Kid, and today I am joined by the legendary Joe Esposito, known for his work on films such as Flashdance, Staying Alive, Rocky IV, and most notably, You're the Best from The Karate Kid. So how are you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing very well, Drew. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming on. It was so awesome getting to meet you at the event in LA for the Cobra Kai concert. That was such a great experience, right?
It was great. I had a great time. Oh, you talking about the Troubadour or the Cobra Kai one?
The net. Yeah, there was a two. I mean,
yes.
both were great. We got to meet at the Troubadour, so that one, like that one, it was just great meeting you. And
right in the front, I saw you there.
yeah. Oh my God, wow, that was such a great night. I mean, it was so cool because also you performed with Vince, and then you performed at the end with Zach and Leo.
Right, exactly. You know, that thing I did with Vince, that's the first time I ever sang that song live. I did it in the studio for the film, and I didn't get to do it in the final. It was John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. But that was the first time we ever performed that song live.
That's incredible. Yeah, Hearts on Fire. I love that song. I mean, I thought your version was really, really good, and I love that you performed it live.
Thank you.
Of course. So I also want to mention to everybody out there that in this interview, we're going to be raising money for LLS, also known as the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which is an organization whose mission is to cure leukemia and lymphoma and improve the quality of life of patients and their families. So, Joe, do you want to talk about why you chose this organization to help today?
Every now and then I go to Detroit. I have a friend of mine. Her name is Vera Gregorian, and she's very passionate about this particular foundation because they help a lot of kids and people that have blood disorders, and they save a lot of lives. And as the years go on with the money they raise, something that was like a 10% survival rate now becomes a 90% survival rate. So we do their when they have their get-togethers, like once or twice a year, my partner and I, Randy Hall, go out there and we help, raise money by performing and being part of it. And I just think it's a beautiful cause. So why not try to raise money for them?
That's great. And yeah, we're going to be raising money here today for that. So throughout the interview, you guys can donate. There's a big blue donate button down below. You could click that. You could donate during the interview. You could donate after. It'll be an ongoing charity. So thank you guys all for supporting. And Joe, I have to ask you, I see like your whole setup. Like, is this your like office, your studio, your little recording studio?
A little studio. If you see like behind me here, that little computer right there, that's where I do my like recording. And then of course, like if I go up a little bit here like this, some of the work that there's a Karate Kid thing. There's some of the stuff with the Brooklyn Dreams. Yeah, that's Diana Ross. That's Donna Summer. That's Flashdance. That's some more Staying Alive. Donna Summer. When I was doing Staying Alive, Stallone jumped up on stage with me and we did a little song together, just fooling around. And one day I walked into his office and he gave me this picture of the two of us on stage together.
Wow.
So stuff like that, basically. I got some. Yeah, it's a nice little thing, some memorabilia for some of the stuff that I've done.
Wow, that is amazing. That's really impressive. It's like your whole like life's work over there.
Right on the wall, constantly
Yeah.
mine. Very nice.
Yeah, definitely. That's really cool. Um, so I have to ask, with the the Netflix is a joke event and the Troubadour performance for Cobra Kai, like how did this collaboration with Zach and Leo for these concerts come to be?
Well, let me see. How did it really? I had someone had gotten in touch with me, and uh, for regarding Cobra Kai, and I think one of the creators got me in touch with Zach and uh, and Leo, and I had written this song. I think I played you part of that song. I wrote something on about Johnny as opposed to Daniel, and like from his version, and they liked it, and they kind of worked it up, and they haven't found a spot for it yet, but they're thinking about using it. And then, of course, in the Netflix, they got in touch with me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of that gathering that they were doing and maybe sing as a special surprise guest. And I said, yeah, why wouldn't I? So that's when I first met them. I mean, I spoke to them on the phone, and they did record part of the track for me for that new song that I wrote. And that's how it started. And then after that, Zach had said, we're going to be doing the Troubadour sometime in, what was it, in the beginning of July or the end of June? I forget what it was.
End of June, yeah.
And I said, yeah, I'll come in and do it. Why not? And as you can see, we had a great time together.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you, well, I didn't meet you then, but I saw you perform at the Netflix event, and I mean, that was a complete surprise. Like nobody knew that you were going to be there.
Right. And they see it, everyone was going crazy. It was wild, so I really had a good time, and I love doing stuff like this. And of course, Vince Nicole, I've been friends with for 40 years. We did a lot of, we wrote some songs together for the Staying Alive movie. And yeah, really, really good.
Yeah.
Fun to do. Just fun to do. You probably weren't even born when I was doing this stuff.
No, I wasn't. So I mean, it's cool, like looking back and watching these films. I mean, the films, like, they still hold up today, and the music, it's just it's sometimes it's hard to find music like that today. So
it's a different era, I mean, there's some great stuff out there today. Imagine Dragons and Maroon 5. I mean, there's a lot of great artists. But there was something special about, I believe, the 80s. And also when I was coming up learning, like in the 60s with Motown, and you had Aretha Franklin, you had the Temptations, you had Smokey Robinson, you had Bob Dylan, you had the Beatles. I mean, so much. These guys changed music, and I guess it got us to where we are today.
Yeah. And some of those guys performed at the Troubadour. Like that was Elton John's first.
I think Elton John, I mean, the Eagles, Linda Ronstadt, so many, James Taylor and Carole King. They originally kind of performed at the Troubadour. So it's kind of prestigious to play there,
Yeah. So where do you usually like perform? Like where are your concerts usually take place?
Well, a lot with the Brooklyn Bridge back east. And I have a partner here, my friend Randy Hall, another great singer-songwriter. Let me see, he's written and performed with Ray Parker Jr., played with Miles Davis. We do a lot of local casinos out here just to kind of keep our voices in shape. And like I said, we go to Detroit a couple of times a year for that foundation and do some of that work. And so I stay busy, as busy as I can anyway. Except, of course, with the pandemic and everything. But now it's really starting to pick up again,
Yeah, definitely. And, going to these different events and meeting different fans, like, what's that like for you, meeting, like, fans of fans of yours?
It's pretty amazing. That's all I can say, especially with this particular song. You know what I mean? And every now and then I'm not really that savvy with Facebook and Instagram like you guys are. The younger generation really knows all that stuff. Following this and doing all. I do the best that I can do. But it's always amazing how people will bring up the Brooklyn Dreams, which is you know, my friend Eddie Hokinson and Bruce Sedano. Bruce Sedano was married to Donna Summer. And, you know, we co-wrote Bear Girls together. I sang Heaven Knows with her. You know, those were some big records. And back in the day, when she was doing it, she was as big as Janet Jackson or whoever, Whitney Houston, you know. So we got to go on tour with her and do some great stuff with her. And then through her, I got to do the movie Flashdance. I had Lady, Lady, Lady that I sang in Flashdance. And then Stallone liked the Brooklyn Dreams, and he got his brother to get in touch with me to do some of the stuff in Staying Alive. And then there's other movies that I sang on. You know, I sang in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Do you know that movie?
Yeah, love that movie. Love that.
Scene where Charlie Sheen is in a police station with Jennifer Grey, and they're talking. All of a sudden, this like background music comes out. That's me with a couple other guys singing.
That's amazing.
I got to sing on that, on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Weird Science, a whole bunch of movie stuff. You know, I sang on the theme song in Different Strokes with Little Willis, and you know, just did a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. And you also, as you mentioned before, you composed Hearts on Fire for Rocky IV. How did that come to be, that collaboration with Vince?
Well, he had done Staying Alive, and he was also doing the music score for Rocky IV, and they needed some songs. So we wrote a bunch of songs. Not every song made it, but that particular song became the main song when he's fighting Drago the Russian. And when he's starting to train for it, they play Hearts on Fire. So it just became one of those songs. You know, first of all, I was in it. And you know, when you're doing stuff, you get calls to do other stuff. And some of the movies don't really go, but some of them do. So, you know, some of the things that I've done, I don't even remember doing. Like my son will say, "Hey, Dad, you remember, look at this. I found this. You did this in Europe." I'm like, "I did." I look at it, and I'm singing with somebody, and I remember the guy, and I'm like, I don't remember doing this video because they did so much stuff, you know? So, yeah, that's basically how it went for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, like, you know, you've done so many performances, written so many songs. Do you remember the lyrics to all your songs?
When I started performing this song, which I didn't really perform for many years, I had to really learn the song.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't remember it. Hearts on Fire, too. I had to go over it and make sure I remember the lyrics. I think I sang one of the wrong lyrics in one of the verses, too. When we did it that night, I realized it when I did it. You know?
Oh, really?
I sang it twice, and the second verse and it was a different lyric, and I was like, "Oh, I just." Sometimes if I flub it, I make up the words. People don't even notice.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
So did you realize, like, in the moment, or was it after?
Yes, I'm like, "Uh-oh, I just sang the wrong verse. Hey, how you doing? I'm working in."
As long as you keep smiling and going with it.
And just sing, you know?
Yeah. So have you ever had, like, a moment maybe like similar to that, like being on stage and, you know, maybe like you just forget the words or something goes wrong or something and you have to kind of figure out your way out of it?
I was in Vegas one time and it was hot out and I had gum in my mouth and the gum dissolved on the roof of my mouth and I'm singing and my lip went like this and I couldn't get dry and I was dying. I felt like I had peanut butter in my mouth. And my friend Eddie leans over, he goes, "How does it feel when minutes turn into hours?" And that was one thing I'll never forget because it was pretty embarrassing. And I don't chew gum anymore on stage.
Oh my God. So how did you get out of that situation? You just had to.
I don't remember. I just remember the moment. You know, I don't remember what we did, you know, but it was a very uncomfortable moment for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you live and you learn. Like, now you won't chew gum on stage.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I've done like a couple like theater shows and like, you know, like someone's supposed to come on stage and they don't come on stage and you're kind of just standing there like, okay, I really hope this person comes out and you know,
time you got to try to fill the spot there and see, you know, if you can come up with some more dialogue or whatever. But you know what? That's part of being a professional, and you learn to roll with it as you go along. you know, when those things happen, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever, you know, you're very involved in music obviously, but like have you ever had an interest for acting or film?
I tried it a little bit, but it's kind of a scary thing. You know, I really give a lot of credit to actors because you really have to expose yourself when you're acting to really be a good actor. And we did a few movies. We were in American Hot Wax. We were the Planet, Kenny Vance and the Planetones. That's the life story of Alan Freed and how rock and roll got started and how he coined the phrase rock and roll. And also we were in the movie Hollywood Nights, but we were singing and we had a few lines here and there, but nothing major. So I think I should stick to the singing. I think I'm better than I am at acting, especially at this stage.
Well, maybe, you know what I think would be really cool is if like in Cobra Kai, they brought you on as like a cameo.
That would be nice, but you know, what you saw, Carrie Underwood got on at the they thought it was going to be me at the end of the championships, and it turned out to be Carrie Underwood. You know,
I know.
Well, she certainly is prettier than I am. That's
well, here's the thing. I know a lot of people were a bit disappointed that You're the Best didn't play during that segment, but you know, Cobra Kai, I think they're going to go for a lot more seasons, so I think they want to save it up for the right moment. So
yeah,
whatever that moment is, that would be great.
Exactly.
Definitely. If you were in Cobra Kai, if you had a role in the show, would you want to play yourself? Would you want to play Joe Esposito, or would you want to play a made up character in the universe?
I would do whatever they want me to do. You know, I'd probably rather play myself. It would be easier, but if they wanted me to do something else, I would do it. I mean, when we first recorded that song, the hit off the movie was the Bananarama tune, Cool Cruel Summer.
Yeah.
It took me almost 20 years. My son wound up being a professional ball player, a pitcher. And when he was in college at Arizona State, he's the one that said, hey, Dad, when people come out to pitch, they're using your song to warm up. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's when I started to realize something was going on there with that particular song. And then it just became like this cult. I don't know what it became, but it suddenly became a gift for me, you know, really, really cool. So, yeah, I'm a part of it. I mean, the song is one of the top songs in 80s soundtracks. And I was on the Flashdance soundtrack and part of Hearts on Fire and part of Staying Alive. So I was part of like 3 or 4 of them, you know?
Yeah. And I have to
get it.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was going to say there's another movie called Hollywood Nights. It was Michelle Pfeiffer's first movie. Tony Danza was in it. We wrote this song called Hollywood Nights. And a few years ago, Snoop Dogg sampled it and did These Hollywood Nights. And then this group called Nappy Roots did it, and it was called Good Day. And Good Day is all over TV. It's in commercials, and it's these kids singing, it's going to be a good day. And all my troubles seem far away. And ain't nobody gonna die today. Because I'm good day. And then it goes into a rap thing. So there's another one that came out of left field. It just became something that we wrote the theme song for, and it turned into something else.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I have to thank you. You know, whenever I play basketball, when I'm working out, You're the Best is my song, whether it's the 1984 version or the version you just re-released on your new album, right?
Yes.
Do you want to like describe the album like for everyone else?
It's kind of like there's some blues and R&B is how I would put it. I wrote one song called Better Man. It's almost like a throwback like to the 60s and 70s. And there's some classic stuff on there by there's one called These Days that Jackson Browne did. We re-recorded Use Me that Bill Withers had written and sang. And there's a couple of original songs on there. There's one called Afraid that's really, really a beautiful song that my producer, Vinny Ponzio, wrote with Alfredo Scotti, the engineer, and Shake It Loose. And there's just a bunch of good songs on there. And, of course, we redid You're the Best, which sounds pretty good, too.
Yeah. What I love about the album is like it's very like each song has its own style. It's very different.
Right.
Um, it's a very unique album, and I love "Shake It Loose." That one's one of my favorites.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I like it too.
Of course. And what went into that decision to kind of do a new version of "You're the Best"?
Well, we did it because we don't want to get locked into the original song. Say somebody wanted to use it, but they have to get permission from Universal, and we have our own version. So it's very similar. So we would be allowed to use our version. And you know who wrote that? Allie Willis co-wrote that with Bill Conti, and Bill Conti wrote the Rocky theme. And they had me sing it because they knew that Sylvester Stallone liked me. Now, it didn't make Rocky 3 because Eye of the Tiger by Survivor was the song for Rocky 3, which is another great song. But the director liked it so much. He was directing The Karate Kid. He put it in The Karate Kid. That's how I was able to get it in there.
Yeah. But you originally, when you recorded it, it was meant for Rocky 3.
It was meant for Rocky 3 because if you listen to the lyric, history repeats itself. Try and you'll succeed. Never doubt that you're the one and you can't have your dream. He fights Clubber Lang, he loses, and he comes back and wins. With Ralph Macchio, this is in Karate Kid 1, he didn't lose anything. It's the first time he's even stepping into the arena with Johnny. I mean, with whoever out, and then fights Johnny at the end. So there's a little trivia there.
Yeah. Well, I guess if "You're the Best Around" is brought back, it will make sense because then when they say history repeats itself, it will refer to the tournament.
To the tournament with Johnny and Daniel's kids that they're maybe. I think now, don't they team up because they're going against Martin Cove with his guy? Isn't that what the thing is? How last season left off?
So last season ended with Terry Silver taking over everything, and Kreese is in jail, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I actually
was kind of like the bad guy now, right?
Oh yeah, he's worse than Kreese. He's worse than Kreese, which is very hard to believe that there's someone worse than Kreese. But so, how did you first fall in love with music, and what made you want to do it as a career?
Well, when I was a little kid and I first saw Elvis Presley, I tried to comb my hair like him, but I didn't have the same type of hair, and I was just mesmerized by what he did. And there were in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, there were a lot of guys that could sing on street corner groups. And then they had doo-wop music, which was very romantic. And I met my friend Eddie, and he had a singing group. And when I saw that, I was like, this is what I want to do. And not only that, we were like 13, 14 years old. The girls liked it. So I was like, oh, girls like this. So it kind of evolved that way. And then we started working in clubs and we started making money. And I was like, this is it. I mean, this is definitely what I want to do because I knew I could sing, you know, and that's basically how it started.
Yeah. Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yeah, there's a song called Put Some Sunshine in My Cloudy Day with Eddie and his brother in his mother's candy store. And when the Beatles, you know, we were a singing, dancing group. And then when the Beatles came out and the Rolling Stones, we decided to pick up instruments and started to learn how to play. And that was the first song we wrote.
So at what age did you write that one?
I must have been about 15, 16 years old. And my buddy Bruce Sedano, who was also in the Brooklyn Dreams, he had been writing for a while, and he was pretty advanced already at that stage. He was writing good songs. So, you know, a lot of influences, you know, and the more you do it, the better you get, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So can you talk about your process for writing a song? Like, how do you approach each song and come up with the idea?
I'll pick up a guitar and I start playing, and then sometimes a melody will come to me, or sometimes a lyric comes to me, and then I try to put it into the song that I'm working on. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. And that's basically how it goes for me. You know, if you look at Elton John's process, he wrote all those songs with Bernie Taupin. Bernie Taupin wrote the lyrics. Elton John wrote the music. They were never in the room at the same time.
Mm.
The lyrics, and so you see, everybody has a different way of doing things, you know. But that's basically my process. I like working with other people because sometimes I can get so far, and then I get stuck. And then if I can give it to my buddy Bruce or Eddie or whoever, and they take it to another step, and I like that process better. It's hard work. It's not easy.
Yeah, I know.
In the beginning, you know, except I don't know. Did you see the documentary with the Beatles? How that 4-part documentary? They show Paul McCartney sitting around playing the bass, and he's singing like one of the other songs, and all of a sudden, you get back. I mean, it just comes out of him. That's just pure genius. You know,
Yeah.
but I heard Billy Joel say he hates writing songs. Another great songwriter, because you got to sit there and you got to work at it, and you know, you go over it and over it. Sometimes you're in the studio, you sing it, you're like, is this song even any good anymore? I mean, I don't even know. And then you get away from it, you come back to it, and you go, oh yeah, it's pretty good. So, I mean, that's the process for me. Anyway.
Yeah, because you're hearing it over and over, and
you get like you can't even tell anymore. You know, after a while, say you're in the studio for 6, 8, 10 hours. I'm like, I gotta go home. I can't tell if this is good or not. You know, let's come back tomorrow. You know.
Yeah. So I play guitar and piano. So, and I write my own songs, and I definitely, you know, I can't just write a song whenever I want. I have to be in the right mindset. You know, sometimes it comes to me easily, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. So basically, a lot of times if I got a melody or something, if I don't pick up my phone and record it, because now, of course, you can record everything on your phones, I lose it. It just goes away.
Mm-hmm.
So then if I have it, then I can go back and I say, okay, let me work on this, you know, and try to figure it out. Write a verse, write another line, another verse. All right, I got half the chorus. I need to come up with something that's different, that's good, you know, stuff like that. So.
Do you use the voice memo app?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see what it is.
I think it's like voice memos where you just like click record and it just captures your audio.
Yeah, it's the voice memos. Yes.
How many voice memos would you guess you've done? Like just like collecting all of your music.
I must have about 30 things. Yeah. Bridge, stand up, Richie vibe, tonight's the night, stand up. You know, I write like, oh, I got a verse here. Let me just write this down, and then I come back and listen to it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever like had to like, I don't know, to get into the mindset of a song, maybe you know, take a break from the studio and like do something that maybe like inspired you and like helped you to come up with that idea if you ever found yourself like without it?
You know, for me, if I start something and it's in my head, it stays in my head. I'll be sleeping at night and I'm hearing this and I got to try to shut it off. And then sometimes I'll find the line. I'll get up and I'll write the line down like in my notes. Oh, I like this line. Then the next day I'm like, nah, it wasn't so good. Or, yeah, it was pretty good. You know, so it just kind of stays with me until I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say is your favorite song to perform?
My favorite song? Jeez. You mean that I've written or just any song that I sang?
I would say a song that you have written, maybe your favorite song that you've ever wrote, and also your favorite song to perform.
I got this song called Music, Harmony, and Rhythm that I really like. Oh, I lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I think it just cut out. We're good.
And that's off the first Brooklyn Dreams album. That's one of my favorite songs.
To perform on stage?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't performed that song in a long time either.
Are you gonna be performing that on Sunday?
No, I'm not. But, you know, let me just show you something. I happen to have my guitar here. So, when I was doing my first album, I came up with, let me see if I could do this. If I could do this right. Music, harmony, in a rhythm, the magical mystery of music, harmony, in a rhythm, the magical feeling, oh, so I wrote music, harmony, and rhythm. That's what I had, and then Bruce came up with when the day gets me down, I go off into my world and escape to the sound, and it gives me strength so I can carry on, even when I thought all the hope is gone. I can carry on and on into the music. See? So I had the chorus, and he wrote the verses, and that's how we put it together. And that's basically how, you know.
Yeah, that was amazing. Oh my God, that was great. I love that. Like, it was a little mini concert. That was great. That was so good.
Well, when we're done, I'll do a little bit of You're the Best. You asked me to do that, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again,
I mean, Allie Willis wrote that. I had met her years ago in the 70s. I was playing in a club. I used to go and sing called Catch a Rising Star. And in this club, Billy Crystal was there just starting out. Freddie Prinze, who was another great comedian, who passed away very young. Him and a bunch of other comedians. And I would go in between the comedians and sing a couple of songs. And the coat check girl I used to always talk to and see if she was okay. And when I got to LA some years later, it's Allie Willis, and she says to me, you know, I was the coat check girl at Catch a Rising Star, and you were always so very nice to me. She wrote Boogie Wonderland, the September song for Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Friends theme song, and she wrote You're the Best. And she's written other songs too, with The Color Purple, with Brenda Russell. And that's how that relationship started, how I was able to sing You're the Best Around.
Yeah. So you've collaborated with a lot of people. So like what's like key for you when collaborating with others with music? What's the thing that makes it work?
Feeling comfortable and making sure we're on the same wavelength. Like I'm an R&B guy. So if you get a guy that's like a real hard rock guy, that may not work unless they're open to what I'm doing or I'm open to what they're doing. So, I mean, that's basically it. And I have to feel comfortable, otherwise I can't write.
So there's countless like covers on YouTube of your songs, especially You're the Best. Have you watched these covers and like, what do you think of them?
I've seen some of them. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them just okay, but I'm flattered that they do it, that they're covering the song. You know what I mean? It's pretty nice.
And what do you think about like?
It's a compliment.
Yeah, and what do you think about like? Because a lot of these covers, you know, they take the song and like kind of do their own rendition with it. So maybe there's some like acoustic covers of You're the Best. Like, what do you think of like when people take the song and kind of do remixes and acoustic versions?
I think it's pretty cool, actually. You know, I don't really see all of them. I'm not on there all the time. I check stuff, but like you kids, I know you guys really navigate, and you know, I guess. You have a lot of followers. How'd you get a lot of followers? Do you like just from starting, or do you boost to get out to a lot of people like on Instagram? I don't really know how that works. I just hear the terms. So, you know, somebody will say to me, or by accident, hey, check this out. Somebody did You're the Best. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Or sometimes people get in touch with me. Hey, what do you think of this? I just did this. I'd love to get your opinion. And I'm like, that's really cool. Oh, thank you so much. That's really good coming from you. I really appreciate it. You know, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of fans messaging you, like, you know, like messages
Not
like?
so much. Enough, you know, but, you know, not that much, not that much.
Well, I'm sure once You're the Best comes back in Cobra Kai, it'll be like a, you know, that song, like, and because like what's crazy is like, you know, even shows like Stranger Things, there was that song Running Up the Hill by Kate Bush. You know, that was like #1 in the 80s, and now it appeared in Stranger Things and is #1 again. So
See, you never know. You just never know with this stuff. It's
yeah.
great because stuff, you know, so many things that I've done that I didn't get. And every now and then you get one or two, and then years later it comes back around, and for all the hard work that you put in, you know what I mean? It kind of pays off. So I'm really, I feel blessed, you know. Plus that I can still sing. I mean, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, even listening.
If I couldn't sing, I wouldn't be out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, even listening to that, the new like version of You're the Best. I mean, like,
There's another guy, right? Yeah.
but no, it sounds like it's the same. It's like you're still able to like hit all those notes. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
There's
I
one
mean,
new version. Yeah, yeah. There's another version that I've heard on TV with somebody else singing it. I don't know
oh,
if yeah.
I'm not
Somebody else
sure.
did a remake of it. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. If You're the Best were to appear in Cobra Kai, would you prefer to um use the original one from '84, or would you want to like do a new updated version, maybe like the one you did for the album?
Either the one for the album, or I don't know if you remember in between season 3 and season 4, they revamped it with my vocal.
Yes, that was amazing.
They had a different, and it was great. It was like a real solid, more contemporary track, I thought, and I was like, wow, that really sounds good. But that was it. I never heard it again. You know, it was like just in the commercials. You know, and then
Yeah,
you just Travis Barker did it with Steve Aoki on the some award show. The two of them, it was me singing, and they were playing. They made their own track.
that's great. Yeah, I know exactly what version you're talking about. They should release that on anywhere. It was just like, so what did they do? They took your vocals and then the vocal track, and then they added their own instrumental to it.
Yeah. The manager had called me and asked me if I had the vocal without the track, and I said, no, I don't. Now, there's a thing called isotope where you can take the vocal out of a track, or probably, you know, with the frequencies. Maybe that's what they did, and they got the vocal. Because I don't know if Universal would give them permission, you know, to go in the studio, get the 24 track, and then just get my vocal and then build a track around that. I mean, that's politics. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Well, whatever they did, it sounded amazing.
Uh,
That would be cool. That would be cool to use that in the show. Um, I'm also, how many different instruments do you play? You play guitar.
a little bit of guitar, a little bit of keyboard.
Okay.
Good
But the
enough
guitar,
for that so far. Not really. I wouldn't call myself a really great musician. I mean, I could play. You know.
but you said when you write your songs, the guitar is like your go-to instrument to write?
Pretty much, and sometimes the piano. Sometimes I'm sitting around on the piano and I'm like, oh, I got this little thing here, and you know, I'll mess around. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And you hook it up to your system you got behind you, right? And you record stuff right there.
Yes, exactly.
That's great. When we were in LA, we got to see Vince's house and his like in-home recording studio, and it's just like it's just crazy, like how many buttons, how many like different things there are to make the music.
He's really a great one. You know, he's one of the finest keyboard players I ever heard. I mean, he's a monster keyboard player. You know, I went to Philadelphia with him. We were doing the stuff for Staying Alive, and Tom Bell I don't know if you know who Tom Bell is, but he produced all the stylistics, the spinners, and wrote all those songs. Great producer and writer. And they flew Vince and myself down to Philly. And when Tom Bell heard Vince play the piano, he said, "You play the piano." And Tom Bell's a great piano player too, but he made Vince play the piano. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Vince is that was incredible, especially seeing him live. You know, like both of you guys. It's a great collaboration there. And I hope you guys could. Do you have any plans to do anything with Vince in the future?
Yes, he wrote a ballad that they're going to be using in this German like CSI TV show. And so far, we haven't been able to work out the schedule. When the guy's going to come over from Germany, and he wants to be there when I do the recording. So whenever that happens, I will probably fly into LA and like at that studio that I met you at, that's Ken's studio, and go there and probably record the song. And another day's work, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Do you do a lot of flying for all these different events?
Yeah, I do. Well, I drove in for the Troubadour, and I drove in also. Oh no, they flew us in, me and my wife, for the Netflix Badass. And I think when I do the thing with Vince, I'll probably fly.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously COVID, like, you know, it shut down a lot of stuff. It affected everything. So how did COVID affect you and your music and what you were doing at the time?
Well, I did the album. When I started before COVID, when I would fly into New York, I'd go up to the engineer's studio in New York City and we'd do some songs. And then I got the idea. I said, look, we're shut down. Send me the tracks. They send me a WAV file. I record my vocal. My producer says, "Man, I like this line, but do this line better, different, and do this line this way." And I send it back and I go, "Nah, you didn't do what I said. I said do it this way." I go, "Okay." I would do it. "Okay, that's good." Send them the vocals. They fly the vocals in, you know, over the internet. Same with the musicians. They lay out all the tracks and they send the drummer his track, bass player. Everybody would send them in, and then they put everything together. And that's how we finished the album the last year and a half. So with COVID.
Wow.
I was in my house, you know, just staying safe.
Yeah. And you were
continued working.
What was that?
I continued working. You know, I did a commercial for You're the Best. It was called Keeper, and it's an internet password protection program. During the pandemic, they flew me to San Diego. I had to take a blood test to get in, make sure I didn't have COVID. And they shot this commercial, and I did that during the pandemic. And I was in the commercial singing You're the Best Around. And then I also had a commercial, an E-Trade commercial for You're the Best. I don't know if you saw the little kid on it was an E-Trade. It was on the Super Bowl, actually. He's got like a broom handle with two paint cans, and he's lifting them up, and it goes, "You're the best," you know. So I mean, there was stuff happening even during the pandemic for me, that's what I'm saying. I'm a pretty lucky guy, you know.
Yeah. So after that, I mean, because obviously, like having a Super Bowl commercial is a very big deal. Did you see a boost in like You're the Best Around? Like how many times people have listened to the song?
Yeah, so far to date, 46 million, over 46 million streams.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
And then the lady in there. There's a song called "Cry of the City" from some movie. Again, I don't even remember doing it. I've heard the song, and there's some other stuff that I'm like, wow, when did I do this? I don't, you know, kind of in that vein of You're the Best. You'd have to go on Spotify and check it out, you know.
Yeah, 46 million streams. That's crazy.
Pretty amazing.
Do you think if You're the Best was used, let's say it was that they chose that song for Rocky 3, do you think the song would have still been as successful as it is today?
No, I don't know, but I know because of Ralph Macchio, and it's the same story. It's the underdog, like Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And the underdog kind of comes out on top. And then, of course, Miyagi, Pat Morita, was a superstar in that movie. And Billy Zapka and all those guys. It was just something that when it all comes together, it becomes something special. And it's too bad that Pat Morita's not alive for the Cobra Kai. That would have been a great element for Cobra Kai, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever get to meet Pat Morita?
No. The first time I met Macchio and Billy Zapka was at the Netflix Badass.
Really?
I never met them before, no.
You never met them before?
I went up to him, to Ralph, and I went, "Hey, Ralph, Joe Esposito." He goes, "Oh, Billy Zapka too. Wow. I saw you, you did that thing on Facebook. Did you see the thing I did with Matt Franco? He won America's Got Talent. He's a magician. He has his own show. He came to my house and he goes, you never sang You're the Best." And he took his phone out and did it in my studio with the two of us. That's a couple of years ago, before the pandemic. And so Billy Zapka, I saw that, and Macchio saw it, and so they were really, they were very nice to me, and the creators of Cobra Kai were very nice too.
Yeah, that video blew up on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. See, that's the stuff. Maybe because I'm an older guy, I don't even think about any stuff like that. You know what I mean? To even do stuff like that.
Well, let me see how many views it has on YouTube. I could check right now. I know it got a lot. 250,000 views on that video that you mentioned.
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quarter million. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I can't believe. So, like when Karate Kid came out, were you involved in any of the because you already recorded the song for Rocky, so were you involved in any of the promotional stuff, any of the conventions or?
Nothing. I told you that song wasn't a big deal when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then the second one came out, and they had Peter Cetera from Chicago sing "The Glory of Love."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what three. There was a Karate Kid 3 too, right?
Yeah.
And was there a 4 or just a 3?
There was a 4. There was a 4.
Okay, yeah. I'm not too familiar with 3 and 4.
Was there any discussion on you doing a song for 2 or 3 or 4?
No, not at all.
They just wanted you for the first one. The first one's the best one.
Well, it turned out to be that's 2 was pretty good also.
2's good.
I'm sure look, when you're a fan of that stuff, I've heard people say they love 3 also. So I don't, I just think it's a great thing from the 80s. And I'm just really happy to be a part of it,
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't meet Ralph and Billy until now, and Martin Kove too, right?
Well, I met Martin Kove. I went it was before the pandemic. They had the Karate Kid cast, and they had all these different shows in LA at the convention center. And I went and did a signing, and I got a lot of people come up to me. And I did meet Martin Kove, and I met not Johnny, but some of the other guys. One of the guys passed away.
Yeah.
Met him, and I met Rob Thomas, and a few William Christopher Ford. I met a bunch of those guys because they were right near where I was signing autographs. And people were coming up with the Brooklyn Dream stuff, Flashdance stuff, signing posters of the Karate Kid, all kinds of stuff like that. That was the first one that I did. So Billy and Ralph weren't at that one.
Oh, okay. And Rob Garrison, who played Tommy, that was the one who passed away. So yes. you met him?
Yeah, I met the mother of Ralph Macchio in the movie. We all took pictures together.
Oh, Randy Heller.
Yeah, very nice person. They were all very nice.
Wow, that's amazing. So, do you keep in touch with any of them, or not? It was more like you just met them there for the
I
first
met them,
time.
and every now and I'll comment on Facebook or Instagram. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah,
Okay.
everybody's doing their own thing, you know.
Yeah. But they're all fans of you, and like
Yeah,
everyone's.
Ralph actually reached out to me in an email and asked me about. He was using some of the lines in his book, and he wanted to know where he can get permission. And he said it was some company. I said, no, 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 it's Universal. You need to contact Universal Music Group. Thanks for the update. Thanks for the insight. And that was it. And then, you know, I'm sure somewhere down the road I'll see them, because Billy Zapka was saying they were thinking of taking that on the road, that Netflix thing that they were doing. That'd be interesting if they do that, and if they would want me to do it with them, I would do it. You know, so I don't know. We'll see.
I hope, because a lot of the events have just been in the West Coast, so hopefully they can give the East Coast fans some love too.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So you watched how much of Cobra Kai the series have you watched?
I watched all of it.
Oh, you watched all of it? What do you think of the show?
I think it's great. I mean, they don't take themselves too seriously, and I think it's entertaining, and I like what they did, and I just think it's a great concept. Whoever came up with it, I'm sure the three guys, the creators, came up with it. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. What do you think of it?
Oh, I love it. It's Cobra Kai Kid. It's literally like everything that I'm doing is because of that show.
Yeah, it keeps it alive and it keeps it interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that Netflix event, I mean, you see the fans there, like they all love it. It's like the show brings people together. I mean, I've made friends because of the show and because of the community. So I'm speaking to you because of it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you notice in season 4, like there were a couple of lines like sometimes people would say, do not let history repeat itself, or let's see who's the best around. Did you pick up on any of those little Easter
Yeah.
eggs?
I'm thinking, okay, here it comes, but then nothing happens. So, and then especially the last show, I'm thinking, oh wow, but whatever. I spoke to Josh Hild, and he's one of the creators. He said, we're trying to find the right spot for the song that I wrote, and also for You're the Best. We're just trying to find the right spot. Okay.
Yeah, because I think with this show, it's like people, they know that characters will be brought back, they know songs will be brought back, and it's all a matter of when. And I think if they played You're the Best in season 4, it wouldn't give fans something to look forward to in the future. At least now there's something to look forward to. We know it's going to come. It's just a matter of when.
Right.
Would you say you're more passionate about singing or songwriting?
I would say a combination of both, but mainly singing is I really started off as a singer, and I do love to sing.
Yeah. It's a great combination though that you can do both. Do you write songs with like yourself in mind, like maybe like writing in like a key that you could sing at, or do you write it as if you're just writing it for anybody?
Well, usually I want the key to be comfortable for me. Sometimes if I start something too high, then I'll transpose it. And if it's about, I find the easiest songs for me to write is if I can really relate to them, and if it's true to my experience. The lyrics seem to come easier for me than try to think of somebody else. Like if I were to say, try to write a love song based upon how you feel, I'd have a tough time, because you're a younger guy, and I have to go on my life's experience. That would work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's been like the biggest lesson and takeaway for you from working in the music industry?
I think the biggest lesson is don't take no for an answer. When people tell you no, you got to keep forging ahead, because sometimes even people in the top spots don't know. Like, what are you kidding? You're too old, you're this, you're that. Can't listen to that stuff. You know, you gotta like whatever your belief system is, follow your dreams and stick with it. That's what my advice that I can give to you from anybody else.
I love that. I love that. That's great advice. And last question for you. You mentioned you are doing that Coney Island performance on this upcoming Sunday. Do you have any other future events or music coming out that fans can look forward to?
Well, some local stuff here in Vegas, and let me see. Hold on 1 second. I'm playing locally in Vegas here, July 30th, 31st, and August 1st. And then I go away for a couple of weeks to see my daughter in North Carolina. September 4th, Med East, that's in New Jersey. September 24th, I'm at the Kirby Center, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And then I'm doing, let me see, I got 3 or 4 whole dates in October. One is in Wildwood, New Jersey, October 15th. That's a hold. Wildwood, is that near you?
I think it's a couple hours for me.
And then October 30th to November 3rd, I'm on the Malt Shot cruise with Dion and a bunch of different groups. I fly to Fort Lauderdale, and then we sail to Puerto Rico, a couple of islands, and then I fly back home. You know, just stuff like that. And November, I'm in Long Island. And November 6th, I'm in Orlando, Florida. And that's all I have for this year. Although in October, September, I'll be working out here, doing some stuff with my partner and some local venues out here in Vegas. And I do You're the Best, too. The other night, somebody came up and requested it. I was playing at the Golden Nugget, and I sang You're the Best around. So.
Yeah. Well, you're super busy. You got a lot going on right now.
Yeah. So should I do this song?
Yes. So, yeah, everybody. So before we wrap up the interview, Joe Esposito is going to perform "You're the Best" from the Karate Kid. This is going to be amazing. I can't believe this is happening. So without further ado, I present to you Joe Esposito. Take it away.
Try to be best, cause you're only a man, and a man's got to learn to take it. Try to believe, though the going gets rough, you gotta hang tough to make it. History repeats itself, try and you'll succeed. And never doubt that you're the one, and you can have your dreams. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. Fight till the end, cause your life will depend on the strength that you have inside you. Oh, gotta be proud, staring out of the crowd when the odds in the game divide you. Try your best to win them all, and one day time will tell. When you're the one that's standing there, you've reached the final bell. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. Fight till you drop. Never stop, can't give up till you reach the top. You're the best in town. Listen to that sound. Little bit of all you got can never bring you down. You're the best around. Nothing is gonna bring you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around.
Wow. Oh my God. That was so good. That was amazing. That was great, Joe.
So here's my guitar, buddy.
Wow.
Taylor guitar, acoustic guitar.
Beautiful. Oh my God. That was great. That was so good. It's crazy hearing you sing that song every time. I get chills. It's just incredible. So thank you so much for that performance. Thank you for doing this interview with me. It was, as always, it's such a great pleasure to talk to you.
Well, I appreciate it, Drew, and good luck to you. You seem like a fine young man, pretty smart guy. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you see where life takes you, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to everybody for watching. Make sure to donate to LLS if you haven't already by clicking the donate button down below and help supporting.
I just want to say one thing. Listen to my record, Joe Esposito, Rythm and the Blues. You can listen on Spotify, iTunes, Google it. You know, there's some good stuff on there. I appreciate it if you do.
Where will you be posting, like, you know, when you're doing different events? Will you be posting there when you're doing those different things?
I have a website, joeesposito.com.
Perfect.
And you can see where I'm performing. That would be the best way to do it.
Okay. And I'll link all of those in the description below so you guys could go check it out. So thank you all for watching.
Have a good day, buddy.
Take care. Cobra Kai never dies.
Cobra Kai will never. Remember, I did that at the thing that everybody went crazy. I sang, Cobra Kai will never die. That's good.
Everyone went nuts. Yeah.
Cobra Kai!